Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Gary Smith, one of the co-hosts of the Crotchety Old Men podcast, and we're here once again with an exciting episode this week. My comrades with me right here, George Crumley and PC Clemens. Top of the day to you, gentlemen.
What up? What up, Smitty? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm
And what up,
doing
Doe, to the brothers from Detroit?
What up, Doe?
That's it. Although our Tigers didn't make it, we still up and running though, 10 toes down. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. How we doing today? Everybody's good, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh
Good,
yeah.
good.
We're blessed to be here with another exciting episode, like I said. And hey, it's a privilege, man, that we're able to still, do what we do what we love, and hey, man, enjoy life to the fullest.
Absolutely. And it's so important that we can share information, to our audience that's gonna, help them get to where we are. So, I mean, that's so important because, if we just keep it out to ourselves, it just kind of dies. It's important that we continue to share this information, this critical information because there's a lot of stuff going on and there's a lot of different news sources and hopefully folks see that way. We got some truth stuff going on here. We talking truth,
That's
truth to
right.
power.
That's
That's
right,
right.
man.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right. Truth prevails in all ways.
There you go. There you
And
go.
another thing too, gentlemen, is that although, you use that term loosely, retired or what have you, but your body may be retired, but your mind should always be working,
Absolutely.
continuous learning. And that's pretty much what we try to share with our audience is that the continuous learning, the three of us, we're accessible to various information from, like George just said, outside resources, what have you. And I'm sure many of you all too. That's why we welcome feedback. We welcome that you send us emails or what have you on information or topics that you like to hear or what have you. But from our sources and things, because some of us are very active, we're still active, and outside the house, if you will, or commerce, we can come across a lot of information that can be useful or helpful to those who are out there who are still running businesses or raising families, or hopefully you're planning a lot of trips and vacations and things. And so today is unlike any other day that we want to bring you some information that hopefully can be of assistance or some help to those out there who are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, business owners, wannabe business owners, what have you. And without me going on and on, let's jump right into it. Uh, and our topic today is going to be about how AI is being used in the business. So, what do you say, gentlemen?
Yeah, let's jump right in it. I mean, because that
Let's
AI
get
is
to it.
not going away, so we got to make sure that we stay on top of it. Like I said, no matter what age you are. So yeah, I think it's a topic that we're probably going to hit on, for a while, just because of the fact that there's so much information, and we want to encourage our listeners to hey get involved with AI because, like I said, it's not going away.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I think I'll kick it off here is that, as far as businesses are concerned, and this could be a 2 day webinar if we wanted to turn it into that in terms of valuations and stuff. Pause, we're not going to do that today. uh, but anybody that's ever worked for a business, owned a company, or what have you, whether it was a lemonade stand or you got a light manufacturing concern, one of the biggest concerns always is growth. All right, how do you grow your sales or how do you grow your revenue and things of that nature? And so, what I found out in my search, and I'm telling you, I'm continuously learning this thing. I may sometimes sound like I know what I'm talking about. I'm a neophyte at this. Let's just like my other comrades here, okay? And we're all continuously
Definitely.
learning. But the way that you learn is through application. And so you got these AI tools out here now, and corporations are using these. And if you're paying any attention to the news, you're hearing about how many companies, from whether it's the big three in the automotive industry or it's oil and gas, every industry on the planet is being impacted with AI, and it's a good thing. Okay. And what I mean by that is that it's simply it's another tool that, especially if you're a smaller entrepreneur, and this is really where I'm going to, because I believe who we're talking to is the small business owners and stuff out there. We're not talking to the Exxons and all that. They have billions of dollars and they're already ahead of this game. But if you're a supplier, okay, and you're still using old, outdated, obsoleted tools to play the game of business, then you're already behind. And what AI does in most cases that it levels that playing field. Okay. It enables you to examine your operations, your sales organization, your cost of goods, whatever product or service that you're selling. And it enables you to take a forensic look at your business to identify areas where you can improve or areas where you can cut costs. And we've all heard the old saying that a penny earned a penny saved is a penny earned. So to the degree that you're able to cut costs and without cutting your throat, cut costs and be able to increase your revenue gives you sustainability and certainly is being passed down now through some of the top suppliers. But I won't continue to talk. I want to give my comrades some opportunities to jump in here at any time you guys feel necessary or you want to. But that's the topic. That's the premise of it. And so here we go.
Yeah,
Well,
Smitty, revenue drives business these days, and that's regardless of the size of your company. I mean, big, small, or regardless. I was just reading an article that the movie industry, is looking at, how they can cut costs because the price of making movies has gone up so much. And Netflix is moving all of their production over to Mexico, and then you've got Disney moving their stuff over to the UK because it's very expensive to produce these movies, in the United States. But to top that off, AI plays in a big part in that because of the fact that you can now, produce a movie. You can go on AI and say, give me a script about a movie about a bank robbery, and boom, it produces it. So there's different ways because they're looking at their bottom line, and they've got to make sure that they're producing these things rapidly. I heard they even created a AI actor now, and they've also said that when they do the awards, that they're going to allow movies that were generated by AI. So here again, like you say, it's about doing it better and faster, and creating more revenue. And as we know, benefits and employees is usually your biggest uh, uh, um, line item, as far as any business. So if you can cut those costs, you're going to put more money on the bottom line. Statistics, 13% of jobs will be lost, because of AI, or they'll be funneled to in another direction. Those that males with who attended college with college degrees, their unemployment rate is the same as those that males that didn't. So I mean, here again, it's opportunity, but as you said earlier, it's leveling the playing field, and that's a good question. As a up and coming, 18, 19, 20-year old, you have to make that decision. Is going to college really going to get me to where I want to be? Or is there other ways, do I create my opportunity in other ways? So yeah, it's a wide open field, and it's a lot of decisions that individuals are gonna have to make, whether it's business, whether it's individually. How do I insert myself? Yeah, it's a moving target.
I was reading an article too, and one of the things that you mentioned, Gary, that's very important in the structure of AI is the forensic analysis that AI is able to do. And when we talk about cutting costs, we're talking about that real time analytics because this world that we live in now, there is copious amounts of data, there's copious amounts of information that's being collected. I mean, per second. So what real time analytics does in the way of AI, it absorbs all this data in real time. So now you have the ability to make some decisions in real time as opposed to going back and researching this and that or whatever. The AI pops that up for you. Second thing AI does is it produces automation for the business based on the type of analytical data that it provides. So as a result of that, now you're talking about improving your costs, as George was talking about earlier. Those two things I think are key in the types of businesses that are being run today that don't have AI at all. And that's what puts us ahead of the game, I would say.
Absolutely.
Right there to kind of piggyback on that, if you're looking at, how do I insert myself from an educational perspective, prompt engineering,
Mhm.
take that, and chew on that for a
Mhm.
while. Google that. Prompt engineering is an engineering degree or a certificate degree that you can get. And why is that important? Because, like PC said, all of these decisions are real time now, but you got to know what question to ask. And this prompt engineering class will teach you how to ask the right questions to get the right answers quickly. So that job in itself is going to be big demand, whereas programmers probably what 5, 6, 10 years ago, programmers was the key. Well, programmers might not be the key going forward. That's going to kind of dwindle off, but prompt engineers are going to be needed in every company because they're going to the quicker you are able to ask the right question and get the right answer is going to make logistically possible where that company is going.
Man, that is so right on, George. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
as
for
you're
sure.
talking, man, I'm thinking so many applications of how companies now, in terms of your marketing strategy, to George's point, you can put your thought or ideas or what have you about your particular value add of your service or product, because we all know one of the purpose of a business is to make someone's life better. Okay. And so to that end, how do you get that message across to your audience, or how do you get that message across to your market? The old days and obsolete methods of cold calling and sending emails and things of that nature has diminishing returns. And so, if you could create a video saying exactly what you want to say, 3 to 5 minute video, and get that out to your customers, get that out on social media, whatever, and you'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whereas before, you used to have to hire a videographer, then you got to get an auditor. Now you got to get an audio person, then you got to get an editor and all that stuff. Within minutes, you can create your own commercial, if you will, or infomercial. You see people doing it half-ass, if I can say that, on TikTok, making foolishness. But from a business perspective, and mind you, that foolishness is getting attention to somebody out there, right? Okay, and so everybody wants to be an influencer of such. But what they're doing is using AI. They're just not using AI from a monetary position. All right. So there's some ways, not only do you save costs, but we have to remember that there's a cost for getting a new customer and there's a cost for keeping that customer. The ancillary cost that's also out there is how do you win that customer back? Well, using AI, as we've said, you're going to hear us say it all the time because repetition is persuasive. You must apply yourself and learn about it. You got to learn, and I know some of the old guys and gals out there, they don't want to learn nothing new, but your life literally depends upon embracing this and knowing as much about it as you can. Our other previously episode, if you didn't see last week's episode, George explained very clearly about how you can use this AI tool to plan something as I call it simple, but as a vacation, family reunions, activities, costs, you name it, it's there.
Gary, you mentioned a good point. One of the articles that I read, and I've read a couple of articles um, to get ready for this particular podcast. One of the articles that I read talked about how problematic it is to put an AI function in a business where you got guys that are so dependent upon the old ways of doing things. So now you have to the transition from going from the old to the new has been somewhat of a problem in terms of inserting AI in some of these businesses and for having an AI to work effectively for them.
Oh, absolutely. And going back to the business piece of it, many of us small business owners are dependent upon doing business to business with businesses that typically either larger than we are or in a different industry. And so as these other companies, these businesses, particularly the larger businesses, as they scale and with their CRMs, their customer retention methods and things of that nature, as they begin to scale and grow, they're looking for their suppliers to do the same thing to keep up. And so, what you'll find if you don't embrace this and embrace it soon is that your old methods of doing business won't work with the new way of doing business. And then you'll find yourself, and that's why you'll see this on monikers sometimes it says evolve or die. All right. And that's true. Okay.
Right.
Because your business will not make it to next year this time if you don't adapt. Start looking at better ways of getting the highest or most potential out of your sales team, how to automate, okay, redundant activities and things of that nature. Many times, even as an owner, you're so bogged down doing mundane things and low value activities that you have no time to spend it on creating wealth. And this is the level that I'm talking about, or that we're talking about actually, when we're talking about leveling the playing field. Because now you don't have to be that brainiac. You can use the tools, and to George's point, learn how to ask the right questions. And really, that's a basic thing that we should learn how to do, period, is asking the right questions. All right. And that's the only way you're going to get the right answers. But if you don't know
Right.
how to ask those questions and you can't figure out a way how to hire somebody to ask those questions for you, again, you're either going to adapt or you're going to die.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to keep reinventing yourself.
Yes.
We were talking. I
Right.
gave a stat earlier about the number of jobs that are going to be displaced. But if you continue to reinvest in yourself and reinvent yourself, put yourself in position to be that person that's going to take AI to the next level within your company, small business, whatever. Those are the people that they're going to keep. For example, if you want to do something that nobody else is doing, take one of these classes. And I didn't mention the fact that they're free. IBM is meant. IBM has a program where you can take all of these AI classes. There's a couple other vendors out there that offer these classes, and then you can pay. I think you pay a fee, and then you get the actual certification. But the information is out there and it's available to you, and you have to take advantage of it, especially young folks, because here again, you have to, if you're talking about the number of people that are looking for jobs with college degree and without, you've got to figure out, how do I, invent myself or reinvent myself that I can be marketable. The best way to predict the future isn't to invent it. So you've got to create your own position and make yourself marketable. And there's ways to do it. And like I said, with free classes, spend your time wisely educating yourself on how to use these tools. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can use these tools. Like you said, I think read an article about real estate. Now, if I want to find a number of homes that are available in a particular area for, in a particular customer that wants to spend a certain amount of money. Used to be I had to manually go into systems and do queries and whatnot. Well, now you can go into one of these chat services and put the information in there, and it'll spit it out within seconds. I mean, think about how impactful that is on you're out in the field with a client, and you're able to put that information at your fingertips that quickly by asking the right question. I mean, this stuff is so powerful, and we've got the tool right in our hand, which is our phone. So we've got to take advantage of this stuff. Like I said, you've got to create your future. You can't just wait for things to
That's right.
happen as they traditionally did in the past.
Absolutely, man. I love that word create, because just like that, you have to create your own marketplace. Okay, you have to create your market. Predictive AI analysis will not only tell you who's looking to buy your product, okay, but how much they're willing to spend. So you're able to adjust, and you're able to be specific about who you're marketing to, be specific about what areas, whether or not you should put a business or expand a business in a particular geographic area or not. Just by looking using the AI tools, that's going to give you those analytics. Okay, should you buy this apartment property? And if so, is it amenable? What amenities does it have? Not just amenities I'm talking about that's outside that apartment property, things that probably are beyond your control. But if you're not offering in unit washers and dryers, then you know that okay, there's a laundromat somewhere nearby. There's a good school system somewhere nearby. There's public transportation and stuff of that nature. So now it enables you to make a wise decision on whether or not, yeah, you may be able to get that dilapidated property cheap, but in the long run, is it sustainable enough to attract the right tenants that you want? Tenants who are concerned about a good school system or not. Those are the things that can make you successful, profitable, and sustainable. AC?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't want to keep harping on
yeah.
the music. I mean, not the music, but the film industry. But like I said, if it's a cost issue that's preventing a lot of movies being made, and they implement AI, it's going to replace a lot of your, film people, your, makeup people, and a lot of people, the jobs behind the scenes. But the flip side of that is they'll be able to make more movies quicker. So you can go on YouTube, for example, create your script with AI, go on YouTube, create your 15-minute movie and get discovered that way. And then, you can go to these big producers and make your full length movie. So, I mean, just, think about that. You've cut out the middleman. You've been able to make a movie probably with your phone.
You can.
The
Yep,
quality is so
Absolutely.
good, and here you are, you fulfill your lifelong dream of being a movie producer, just like that with those types of tools. I mean, just think about this. I mean, we are 70-year-old men doing a podcast.
on
It
AI.
costs us a little bit of nothing.
Who'd have thunk it?
We're in different cities and we're doing this, we've been doing this for over 3 years, and it costs us a little bit of nothing to do that. But look at the audience that we reach. And I mean, like you said, we're at the low level as far. I mean, if we actually put additional time, additional money, who's telling where this thing could go? But things are just so easy and at our fingertips. We almost kind of take it for granted. But yeah, things are moving and moving quickly. You got to jump on board.
Yeah.
And as things are as easy as they are with AI, there are a few things that we need to consider that they bring warnings to how we use AI and how AI is being used and how things are built. For one thing, AI has a lot of loopholes in it and it lacks security. When you think in terms of AI and you think in terms of how it's collecting mass data, you can only imagine what can happen if it gets out of place or misused in such a way where it breaches security, taps into people's personal information, their health information, and they've created laws with regard to this before they even started with AI. So AI is really you got to be watchful about the security of the AI. Second thing is this: when you think in terms of reducing costs, it's suggested that if you're going to reduce cost and you're going to use AI to do it, then AI should probably be custom built more than just to having an average type of AI that you just pick up on or piggyback off of, because it also can get out of hand, and your cost will be in the negative margin rather than in the positive margin, if you don't have exactly the right tools for what you're trying to do with your business. And there's some other things that this particular article that I read articulates some of the warnings about what needs to. Creativity is another thing. AI does not take away our creativity. And as a result of using AI, especially with the younger people, they become dependent upon it. So as a result, they don't use their creativity to produce so much more that they could produce if they weren't so dependent upon, the AI and the mechanism itself.
Yeah, well put, PC, and I'm glad you said that before we begin to wrap up here. Is that's a critical advice right there. Do your due diligence. All right, AI is a tool. It doesn't replace creativity. It doesn't think for you. It just enables you to make better decisions.
Yeah.
Okay, no matter what you put into it, and be wary of what personal information you put into an AI system if you didn't personally build that system. Work
Yeah.
very
And
well.
Right. You talked about that last week, Smitty, about putting too much information in AI where it collects that data and disseminates it out into the universe, so to speak.
Yep.
yeah. I don't know if I told this quick story last week, but if you think about, like you say, the critical nature of AI, people say, well, how could it, do these things? All you got to do is unplug it. But there was one programmer that basically created a fictitious company. And when if you've used AI, it basically talks to you. You can say good morning AI, it'll speak back to you. If you put information in, it'll ask, do you want more? So this particular programmer basically said, well, I'm going to stop using you. I'm going to disconnect you. So what the AI assistant did was actually created a a story about the CFO of this fictitious company, and that they were having an affair, and that they were embezzling money and things like that. And then it's disseminated to social media, therefore stopping them from disconnecting the AI. So here again, it was a fictitious company, but here again, that in the wrong hands can be a very detrimental too.
Absolutely.
True that.
Well, all right. Because again, we could go on and on. We haven't even scratched the surface
At
of
all.
the utilizations and a lot of the good things that can happen and how they can, again, level the playing field. I look at it like this, what to set aside SBA 8A loans and DEI initiatives have in some people's mind are perceived to have eliminated. AI levels that playing field. Okay, so it enables us to be better, all right, and to be the best at whatever it is that we've chosen to do. So embrace it, learn more about it, or of course, if you don't, the alternative awaits you. So
Create your own future.
that's right. Create your own
Right,
future,
right.
create your own wealth. I
Mhm.
mean, let's face it, there's many a billionaire being made and millionaire every day because of their utilization of these tools that are here. What's obsolete is gone. So either you're going to make a wrong decision or a slow decision. Always keep this in mind that the reason that Hollywood or blockbuster video is no longer around is that they made a slow decision. They didn't transfer, they didn't adapt. And so Netflix and all the other streaming services come on, and that's how we watch movies today.
So who's got our words of wisdom, our message for our audience today? Who's got that?
PC, are you ready? If not, I got one.
Well, you got one. Go ahead, Smitty.
Well, it's always going to be something business related, right? So, well, not always, because every now and then I come up with something that's good, but you have those really, really good ancient old wisdom type video, quotes. But here's one. It's going to be short and brief here is that small actions, yeah, small actions leads to big results.
All
So
right.
it's very short and simple.
All right.
All
Take a
right.
small action today. Until next time,
As we always say, if you didn't
if you
know,
didn't know,
now you
now
know.
Now
you
you
know.
know.
All right. Take care,
Peace out,
guys.
everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
This is Dr. Paul Clemens with the Crotchety Old Men Podcast. If you're interested in financial tools to build wealth, and you're interested in ways to maximize your health through holistic alternatives, then you are just the audience that we're looking for. Tune in each week, every Thursday, to the Crotchety Old Men Podcast, where George Crumley, Gary Smith, and I offer you in-depth discussions on health and wealth. Subscribe to the Crotchety Old Men Podcast on Google, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.